rated California Department of Transportation. The folks that gave this Indian from India and his brother CDLs when they were illegal aliens, meaning they entered through Mexico and California, and Gavin Newsom's he gave them a Class A CDL. Within 2 months of Gavin Newsom doing that, they were attempting a illegal CDL. They were attempting a legal U-turn in a tractor trailer, semi truck, lorry, whatever you're going to call it. Folks, as a former trucker, I can tell you that's the very first thing we were told never to do. Never attempt, because you won't do it. Well, this guy took up 5 lanes of the northbound traffic on the Florida Turnpike near St. Lucie, Florida. And then he tried to squeeze through a emergency response turnaround on the turnpike with a sign right there that said no U-turns. Well, he jackknifed the trailer too, so let me see. He's blocking all 5 lanes of the northbound traffic. He's using the emergency turnaround for emergency vehicles only for a tractor trailer. That's 95 foot, folks. There isn't enough room to do that maneuver there. He was jackknifing the truck and trailer when a minivan going northbound went underneath his trailer, killing 2 instantly and sending another one hanging on to life by a thread to the hospital. En route, they didn't make it. And yet, you have all these people in India almost doing like a script. Over 2 million of them have signed a petition for clemency for this Indian who can't understand English, can doesn't know the rules of the road here in the United States, doesn't know road signs, attempting a U-turn in a semi truck, saying he only had a small accident. Now, he doesn't understand that 80,000 pound truck, when it's fully loaded, is a deadly weapon. How do I know? I'm a former OTR driver. If you don't understand what OTR is, that is over the road in the lower 48. Folks, I drove semi. I have over 1,000,000 miles in my belt. And I can tell you, I never attempted a U turn on the highway. Never, ever, ever, ever. If you don't understand English, you don't understand road safety, you don't understand proper road etiquette, you do not understand the signs, especially the U turn signs right where you're doing the U turn, you're a bonehead and you don't deserve to be behind the wheel of an 18 wheeler or possess even a simple operator's license. These people are killing our families, our friends because they want to make fast money, and a lot of our liberal states are trying to convince them to come here and make fast money. The liberal states in our country are responsible for a lot of deaths. That's your states of California, Oregon, New Mexico, Washington. Oh, let me keep going. There's several of them. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota. Have you noticed a trend yet, folks? Every one of those states that I just mentioned have a governor that is a liberal Democrat. And I know from firsthand experience because, folks, I still have my CDL. I could go get in a truck right now, but I choose not to. The state of Michigan is who I have my CDL with because I was born and raised here. I still live here. Our governor just announced 3 weeks ago, in her words, undocumented. That is the biggest crock of bull I've ever heard of. They're not undocumented, they're illegals. They are not undocumented workers, they are illegals. That's like saying breaking into a grocery store that is closed. You're just a shopper in need of groceries. Issues regular driver's licenses to non English speaking peoples. They don't understand rules of the road. They do not understand road signs. Yet, she also allows for jobs. But if you're an American that wears a hat, you cannot wear your hat and get your picture taken, but you can wear your hijab. So you're allowed, if you're a Muslim, you can cover your whole head so you can't be identified. But if you're American, you can't wear your baseball cap and have your license photo taken because you're concealing your identity, is what they actually told me. I believe every licensed driver in the United States should be able to have a conversation in English, should be prepared to take a sign test and identify the signs. And the road tests, all the tests at the DMVs and or Secretary of State's in case of the state of Michigan, because that's where we go to get our licensing, should be in English only, no interpreters. Let that sink in for a minute. English only, no interpreters, no tests that have been put in Arabic, or I don't even care if it's, I don't even want to put in Mexican or Spanish or German, and I'm half German saying that. Why should we accommodate people that want to come here and steal good jobs and destroy industries? Because all the foreigners that have got CDLs have destroyed the industry. They were lowballing experienced drivers on bids for loads, because that's how the trucking industry works, where one company might say, okay, I'm just going to use Tyson Chicken as a guideline or as a shipper. Tyson puts it out on the load boards. Hey, we're Tyson Chicken. We have a 3-stop load in Oregon from Arkansas. So all the trucking companies will send their bid in for it. And most of the Indians or the foreigners will, and then they'll take 1,000 off of it or 2,000 to get that load. That driver may never have gone over a mountain range before or driven in snow, such as the guy that was here from Cuba that picked up a load in Spokane, Washington, taking it to Dallas, Fort Worth. On the upside of the mountain, he's doing 65 miles an hour. And it is snowing and ice on the roadway. He's still doing 65. Coming down the downside of the mountain, he's picked up some speed. He's now out of control. Guess what, folks? He hits Denver, causing a fiery crash because he had never driven in ice and snow before. Doesn't understand English real well. He's from Cuba. Doesn't really understand the road signs. Because on his way down the mountain, he passed the sign that said, truck runaway lane, right lane. While he was in the left lane, folks. When he hit Denver, he literally hit Denver. He ended 5 American lives. Florida is now also using their agricultural stations. These guys that can't speak English. Florida is also sending ice to truck stops. Guess what, folks? Many of the foreigners that can't speak English, the word spread. They won't go to Florida. They're avoiding it. And Florida has already put out a warning to them. You can't speak English, you come to Florida, you're getting shut down and you're not driving a truck. They're not recognizing the liberal states' CDLs because they were obtained illegally because federal DOT, federal law states truck drivers must understand and be able to speak the English language. That has been a law forever and a day. You must be able to understand road signs, and you must be able to operate a semi truck 80,000 pounds safely. And it's all liberal states, folks. It's just not one, it's many, it's all. Because the liberal Democrats in our country are hurting when it comes to elections lately. They think by letting these guys drive semis, they're going to bring their families here. They're going to learn to speak English. They're going to be able to take that citizenship test. And they're going to become Democrats when they can vote. That's what's trying to the Democrat Party. Mike, it's not taking brown privilege away. It's taking non-English speakers' privileges away. And obviously, you can understand English because you typed it pretty well. As a former truck driver who still has a CDL, there's no way I would drive truck in our country right now. And the industry made it easier for these non-speakers to drive because most of the trucks now are. Sorry about that. I'm trying to correct my dog. She talks. She's an Alaskan Malamute. Um, they made the trucks all automatic. When I drove a Super 18, KW 2000 Super 18 with the Cummins. I have over 1 million miles under my belt. I drove when truck drivers didn't have time to talk on the CB, didn't have time to talk on their cell phones. Matter of fact, we had cell phones, but cell phones we had weren't that good. Now, I do drive occasionally for some local farmers. When they start harvesting, I will be going back to work for a couple of hours a day, but I'm not out there all day. And then I go from that farm, I go to the mill or the elevator and drop off the harvest and right back to the farm to get another load. We have to stop killing U.S. citizens for illegal aliens. Florida has made some incredible moves in the last week. Agricultural stations now test for understanding and be able to speak English and road signs. And they're also looking for those so-called non-domicile licensing. Because they're illegal. We need to get tough on these foreign nationals that are here driving truck illegally. Granted, most of them are foreign illegal aliens or asylum seekers, which under federal DOT law may not possess a CDL. And believe me, California's two Indians aren't the only two. Michigan gave licensing to two South Africans. 3 weeks ago in Nevada, we're going the wrong way down the highway. Yes, you did hear me say that right. They were going the wrong way down the highway. They were fully loaded at 80,000 pounds. That is a deadly weapon, folks. And these two South Africans, licensed out of the state of Michigan, thought it was okay for them to switch seats while the truck is barreling down the wrong way on the interstate at 65 miles an hour plus, fully loaded 80,000, changing seats and drivers. Well, they no matter finished changing seats when they came upon a group of motorcyclists. They killed 3. You know what their excuse was? They said a gust of wind caught the truck, and that's why they hit the motorcyclists. Not they were pulling off a legal move while the truck was moving. Not the fact that they were going the wrong way down the highway. Mike, it's simple logic. They do need an IQ test. They need an English test. They need a roadside test. Rules of the road test. And how about all testing done in English? So just between the accidents in Florida and Nevada in the last 3 weeks, because there was another driver from California, also a legal alien, took out 2 in Nevada as well. So Nevada has had 5 innocent American lives taken by illegal aliens. Florida, through California, has had 3 innocent Americans unalived. In 3 weeks, folks, that's 8 American lives taken. These 8 people don't get to see their loved ones, don't get to see their kids, grandkids. They don't get to see anything. They don't even get to go home. They don't get the privilege of breathing oxygen, but that illegal who killed them does. These 2 weasels from India in Florida were told by Florida DOT, do not leave the state of Florida. Well, guess what? Within 12 hours, these 2 weasels jumped on an aircraft and they were 2,000 miles away in Stockton, California. Within 12 or 6, I think it was 12 hours, maybe 16. They were in Stockton, California at their residence, gathering their belongings and trying to flee the United States. They were trying to flee justice. They had just taken 3 innocent people's lives so they could make fast money and send it back to India. I'm sorry, these two guys, weasels, should be tried for murder one. And Florida ought to put a arrest warrant out for Mr. Gavin Newsom. And the California DMV operational head. They should all have arrest warrants because indirectly they're responsible. And it shouldn't be life in prison, three different accounts. It should be death penalty because they know they're not supposed to be in a truck. They know they cannot speak English. And they're operating with boneheads. They're boneheads. They're attempting things in a 90-foot tractor trailer that you shouldn't even attempt in a car. They're fully loaded 80,000 pounds. How would you like a family member of yours to be on the Florida Turnpike and have this guy doing the U-turn in an emergency turnaround only, blocking all 5 lanes of the northbound Florida Turnpike at St. Lucie? Your family members can't stop. They hit that trailer now blocking all 5 lanes. Chances are the two that passed on the scene probably were beheaded, just to be honest. Do you want your friends or family to pass because these foreign drivers should never have been given a license now have been given a license to kill? Every test given to those wishing to drive semi should be in English only. That state walk around, English only. That state road exam, English only. That sign test, English only. The test to see if you know proper road etiquette here in the United States, English only. And every state in our country should adhere to federal law. No, no. Illegal aliens. No. Asylum seekers. Because that is federal law. If you don't know English, you can't be a truck driver. If you don't have the proper licensing and proof of the requirements to obtain a CDL, guess what? You don't get a CDL. I don't believe that non English speakers should be driving in the United States. If you want to drive in our borders, then know English. I know several Arabic people. I'm friends with them. They can't speak English. They cannot comprehend. They can't speak to that police officer if they pull them over because they only speak Arabic. Many of them need a Arabic translator. And here in the state of Michigan, we have a severe problem with that. If you don't know, Dearborn, Michigan is the highest concentration of Arabic speakers in the United States. And I'm going to say over 83% of them can barely speak English alone, understand it. Pretty sad, folks. Where is our country headed? How do the liberal Democrat governors sleep at night knowing that they gave a foreign national a license to kill? We need to make English the official language of the United States. And if you can't speak it, you can't drive here. Just a little food for thought this morning. I'm going to end my stream because I've got to check my blood sugar. I am a sugar diabetic. And I have to get my breakfast around. I've already had 2 cups of coffee. I think I'm going to have a fruit mixture of watermelon, muskmelon, and grapes for my breakfast. So I want to wish you a good day. Thank you for listening to me babble. And thank you, Mike, for putting in some comments. I appreciate that. I appreciate you all tuning in. And you have a blessed day. And remember, He's in control, not us. God bless.